What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon back, and once again we'll be reviewing the top 10 hottest Pokemon cards of the week, the 10 cards that I have seen spike really hard in the past week or so. We'll be doing 10 cards and of course several honorable mentions, lots of cards from the Sword and Shield era, and a few from Scarlet and Violet. So thank you so much for tuning in, folks. I really appreciate you watching. A quick shout out, folks, to our first time sponsor. It is Arizona TCG. Folks, a lot of consignment services are very slow and kind of keep you in the dark, but not these guys. When you consign with them, you see your cards the whole way through, from the intake, to the pictures they take, to the listing, to the live auction stats, to the payout, all displayed for you in a clean dashboard. You can pick weekly auctions for reach, or you can choose buy it now and edit your price in real time. They're fast and transparent, and their user face is genuinely easy to use. And their eBay listings, of course, get a ton of traffic, which is very important when you're trying to sell your cards for the highest price. Now through October, they're offering 50% off their already low consignment fees on your first submission. Use code TOP10 at Arizona TCG when consigning your cards. Thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate your support. Alright guys, let's take a look at 10 cards and a couple of extras that have spiked in the past month. We'll be taking a look at August sales and comparing them to the sales from this past week. Let's get started off with this Charizard VMAX from the Ultra Premium Collection box in PSA 10. This guy was selling just a month ago for about $310 to about $355. Not too shabby, but check out the prices in the past couple of days, folks. This card has sold in auction for $560 to $569, all the way up to $580 for this Zard, and that is a nice 87% increase in less than a month. This Charizard's finally catching up to the Charizard V-Star from the Charizard UPCs. Now all we're waiting for, folks, is the Charizard V to catch up, and we'll be all set. The next card on our list is a very popular one. It is the Tyranitar Illustration Rare from Paldea Evolved, and PSA 10 was selling a month ago in auction for about $365. Now we saw a sale this past week of $725. And that is a 100% increase on this illustration rare. Now folks, I've been saying it's like a battle between the Groudon IR from Paradox Rift and this Tyranitar from Paldea Evolved. Both of these IRs are doing exceptionally well, especially this one this week. This is the number 9 on our list today. Next up is a card that is no stranger to my top 10 list. It is the Rayquaza VMAX from Silver Tempest. This is a trainer gallery card that was selling as a PSA 10 for about $187 to about $195. But boy, this week, this card has skyrocketed, selling in auction for $365 to about $388, which is a 108% increase. Rayquaza, one of the top 10 greatest Pokemon of all time, if you ask me. This is the number 8 card that has spiked the hardest this past week. Next up, we have a card that I told you a few weeks back you needed to pick up. I hope you did. It is the shiny rare Pikachu from Paldean Fates. This card in a PSA 10 was selling in auction for about $182. Now we are seeing sales of $325 to $395. And take a look at the seller here, folks. Look familiar? This card has seen a 117% increase in the past couple of weeks, and I was telling you, folks, I swear, not even a month ago, I was telling you this card was underrated, undervalued, and look where we are. Up next, we have one of my favorite modern cards of all time, and my number 1 favorite from Crown Zenith. It is the Mewtwo V-Star Galarian Gallery card. This guy was selling as a PSA 10 for $278. Here's another sale for about $275 back in the middle of August. Now we are seeing sales of $570 up to $600 for this card as a PSA 10. That's a 118% increase. Absolutely phenomenal card, and in my opinion, still got room to grow as a PSA 10. What do you think? Speaking of Crown Zenith, here is another card from that set. It is the Full Art Mew, doing exceptionally well. This card was selling as a PSA 10 for about $175. Here's another sale for $172 back in early August. Now we are seeing sales of $365, $375, up to $405 for this Mew, and that is a 135% increase. Telling you folks, Crown Zenith is hitting really hard this week, which brings me to our next card on the list, and that is this full art Pikachu from Crown Zenith. This guy was selling as a PSA 10 for $112 to about $120. Now selling for $265, which is a 136% increase. And this is actually the cheaper Pikachu from this set. There's the other Pikachu that's always been more expensive. This guy is a lot more common, not so much desired as the other one, but boy, the price is skyrocketing this past week. Up next, we got a card from Lost Origin. It is the Gengar Trainer Gallery card that was selling at auction for $201 to about $192. In the past week, we have seen this card explode, selling for $440. Here's a sale for $455, up to $460 for this Gengar, which is a 140% increase. And much like Rayquaza, Gengar, and also Mew have been killing it this year. It's no surprise to me this card has gone up as much as it has. However, I am kind of surprised at this card right here. It's the Radiant Charizard from Pokemon Go in PSA 10. Was selling for about $83 to about $89 to about $91. This card couldn't even break $100 last month. Now this past week has seen sales of $209. Here's another sale for $209. So that is a 152% increase on this Radiant Charizard. And you know my feelings about this card. I was never a big fan of it, but boy, the PSA 10 copies are making quite a splash this week. Before we get to the number one card in today's video, I got a couple of very honorable mentions for you. Here is a PSA 10 Alt Art Galarian Moltres V from Chilling Reign that was selling for about $380. Here's another sale for $385 back in August. Now sells for $605 to about $625. And that's a very nice 64% increase on this magnificent card. We also have the Gold Star Greninja from Celebrations that was selling for $475 to about $495. Now selling in auction for $760. Here's another sale for $760 up to $810, which is a 70% increase on this guy. Here we have the Umbreon V from Evolving Skies. This alt art was selling as a PSA 10 for $580 to about $620 back in August. This card is now four figures, selling as a PSA 10 for $1,051 to about $1,075, which is an 85% increase on this alt art. And last but not least, we have this guy right here, the Pidgeot EX SIR from Obsidian Flames, was selling for about $100 pretty much all day as a PSA 10. Here's a sale for $100. Now it's selling for nearly $200. Here's a sale of $170 to $188, up to $198.50, which is about a 99% increase on this Pidgeot. Which brings me to the number one card in today's video. It's this Trainer Gallery Pikachu from Lost Origin. This card was selling as a PSA 10 for $188, now selling for $410 to $482 to $560. This card has exploded in its auction prices this past week, which gives it a 200% increase in less than a month. Folks, what'd you think of the cards in today's video? Have there been cards you've been seeing skyrocketing recently? Let me know about them in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. That's all I got for you. I'll catch you in my next one.